Welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host, Tom Downey. NFL free agency is almost here, so let's take a look at some possible destinations for one of the free agent quarterbacks. That is Teddy Bridgewater, and quite frankly, I'm not sure where he's going to end up. It is a very strong quarterback class among free agents, which is very rare for the NFL, and there are plenty of options where Bridgewater can go, but I'm not sure if he's going to be the number one target for any particular team. And that leads on to some uncertainty as to where Bridgewater can go. So a lot of teams make some sense, but there isn't one obvious, Bridgewater is going to end up there. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening to him. And you better believe we're going to keep you covered here on Chat Sports. We will have live NFL free agency coverage during the tampering period when all the players sign, all the way throughout the entire week. So hit that big red button, subscribe. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. No one's going to keep you more updated on NFL free agency than we will. So before we dive into where Bridgewater could leave to, I think it's important to at least mention the New Orleans Saints. I don't think Bridgewater ends up being back. I do foresee a scenario, though, in which maybe Bridgewater does what he did last year. He takes another one-year deal, passes on more money elsewhere. The Saints find a way to fit Breeze and Bridgewater and Hill all under the cap, as difficult as that's going to be. Probably a bit unlikely there. Look, Bridgewater is better and younger than Taysom Hill. The issue is he's going to be more expensive. I saw one report of he could get $30 million in free agency. I don't think he gets that much, but if a team is convinced he's their franchise quarterback, that will drive up the price tag. So the Saints would love to find a way to bring him back. It's just going to be tough because Breeze is going to re-sign. They want to keep Taysom Hill as well. Juggling the cap there, pretty darn tricky. Some other possible fits I wanted to make note of. I like the Colts fit, but I wonder if they'll go Rivers and or draft pick instead. Miami pursued Bridgewater last year. Feel like they just might end up taking a pick instead. Tennessee might be more likely to keep Ryan Tannehill. Carolina is an interesting fit if they choose to not retain Cam Newton. And then I also want to briefly mention the Las Vegas Raiders, but maybe you just roll with Derek Carr instead and just try and invest elsewhere in the draft and in free agency. So I will make this question the pinned comment of the video. Where do you think Teddy Bridgewater will sign? We got 4 more teams I'm going to dive into, but if you're watching on YouTube and you get hit with an ad break here, scroll on down to the pinned comment and make your best guess. Number 4, the Chicago Bears, and I would put the Bears higher if I didn't at least think maybe they'll go with Trubisky and a cheaper option. My mindset for Bridgewater is he's going to either go be a starter somewhere, or if there's really not that market, which I think there will be, he'll just go back to the Saints for one more year and try again next offseason. The Bears are tight on cap space, but they make sense for quarterback fits because Mitchell Trubisky was simply not that good last year. Here's your side-by-side comparison of Teddy and Trubisky. Better completion percentage. You see that X-comp percentage? It's the average for quarterbacks. So are you more accurate or less accurate based on types of throws you made? Teddy was above average. Trubisky was below average. Yeah, the yards are in favor of Trubisky. He threw more passes. The yards per attempt, a full yard higher than Bridgewater. And in far fewer games, Bridgewater had half the touchdowns. Teddy, to me, is pretty clearly a better quarterback. But for the Bears, do they roll with Trubisky one more year? Maybe they trade for somebody like Andy Dalton or sign a backup like Marcus Mariota. And we've told you guys about this deal before, but it is still going on. NFL jerseys are available for under $80. This price drop is available at chatsports.com/jersey deal. That includes Bears, that includes Saints, that includes all NFL teams and big name players too. Like Sam Darnold, if you're a Jets fan, speaking of former Teddy Bridgewater teams, it's chatsports.com/jersey deal. I will put that link, by the way, in the comments and the description, so all you have to do is click and go shop. Now, we'll get to number 3, and I want to make this note right now. Because I'm a little uncertain, more so than most of the quarterbacks as to where Bridgewater ends up, I wonder if Bridgewater ends up being the top fallback option for teams that are unable to sign Tom Brady. Now, I think Teddy Bridgewater would fit really well in New England if Brady were to leave. I'm not convinced that that's the best path for the Patriots, but if Brady goes somewhere else, I think Bridgewater should be at the very tippy top of that list. He fits the offense well. His short but very accurate passes, that's pretty much what the Patriots have run the past couple of years, and they can afford Bridgewater as well. $40 million in cap space. You could get creative with the contract there. And Bridgewater has always seemed to have a very keen understanding of going to a place that will be best for him beyond just that 1 year or making the most money. I think Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels certainly fit that mold. And if Brady's gone, do we think Jarrett Stidham is the answer? I don't really think that's the case. So if you do lose Brady, which is at least a possibility for the Patriots, although I guess we'll find out in about a week here, or under a week, excuse me, I think Bridgewater should be at the top of that. Hey, we lost the GOAT. Let's go find someone who can help us win right now. And you guys can chime in here as well. Speaking of Tom Brady, who is the best Tom Brady replacement for the Patriots, of course? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you want to go wild, crazy theory, I think Jimmy Garoppolo might also fit that mold, at least just a little bit. Number 2, the LA Chargers. I'm still not quite sure what their plan is going to be at quarterback. And there are pros and cons to both of these here, right? On the pro side, that front office and coaching staff is trying to win right now. And in most cases, a rookie quarterback, even a top 10 quarterback, doesn't always help you that much. But they have the number 6 overall pick. They could get their young franchise guy. So trying to juggle those two, at times contradictory viewpoints and end goals, is a little tricky. Now, I think Teddy Bridgewater is an instantly better quarterback than what LA has on their roster right now. Easton Stick is not the guy. I feel pretty confident saying that. Tyrod Taylor is fine. He's a really good backup. He could be a bridge quarterback to somebody. But if you're trying to win right now, and maybe Anthony wants to keep his job and avoid not getting fired or whatever, Bridgewater, I think, fits that mold really well. But for the Chargers, they might have to face this discussion. And we'll let you guys vote here as well. Let's say you're at your LA or any team, and you have your pick between getting Justin Herbert in the draft or signing Teddy Bridgewater. One costs a lot of money in free agency. The other costs a ton of draft capital. So cast your votes. Type B for Bridgewater or H for Justin Herbert. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Now, today's show is brought to you guys by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120. Now, this might come as a surprise to you at number 1, and frankly it does to me. But as I was going through the list, I keep coming back to the Buccaneers. As weird as that sounds. Now, Jameis Winston, we know, is a free agent. I don't know if he's going to be back. I think you might see the Bucs make a run at Tom Brady, and if they miss out on Tom Brady, I could see them looking then towards Teddy Bridgewater as their next available option. Now, before that gruesome knee injury that nearly ended Bridgewater's career, the deep ball was starting to get a little bit better. But there is some just philosophical differences between these two quarterbacks. Frankly, they are on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of play style. Teddy Bridgewater is safe, conservative, accurate, doesn't turn the ball over, short passes. Jameis Winston is the reckless gunslinger with a strong arm. Jameis Winston was second in the NFL in average depth of target. That's ADOT. That was 10.5 yards. Teddy Bridgewater, among qualifying quarterbacks, he was dead last. So that is a very different style of typical quarterback than the strong-arm Bruce Arians, or strong-arm loving Bruce Arians tends to prefer. But it is different. And sometimes, for example, you see NFL teams go from offensive to defensive-minded coach. This would be like going the opposite direction at quarterback. A lot of this depends on what happens with Tom Brady, what happens with Phillip Rivers. I think that will add clarity. But before we hit free agency, I kind of like the Bucs and the Chargers and Patriots as my top destinations. I'm not going to rule out the Saints. I'm not going to rule out the Bears. There are other teams we mentioned. Specifically, I think the Titans and Panthers could be potential threats there, and the Colts. But I'm going to be bold amidst, I think, uncertainty around Teddy Bridgewater and put the Bucs at number 1.